When you're looking to decide what system you have for your website as a real estate investor or agent, there's 4 main factors that I like to look at when I'm making that decision: ease, performance, cost, and the aesthetic. And we're gonna break down kind of how to weigh those options as a real estate investor or agent so you're making the right investment. So that investment gives you a yield that you're pumped about, and it puts more money in your pocket versus just making you proud of the website that you have. So if you wanna get more leads from your website and drive more ROI and make the right choice with your investment website or agent website, this video is gonna walk you through in detail how to do it. Guys, once again, I'm Trevor Mock, CEO of Carrot.com, where we work with thousands of the top real estate investors and agents to help you guys and gals dominate Google, generate more motivated sellers, buyers online to the tune of over 500,000 leads every single year, most of them sellers, most of them organic. And guys, if you like this type of content, we have an entire series on this that you're watching. Go check out the other ones. But we have an entire YouTube channel that has more on marketing mindset, our podcast called The Carrot Cast, and a heck of a lot more. Just hit subscribe wherever it is, wherever you're watching this, to get first access to all of our content to help you grow, win back more freedom in your business so you can make a greater impact. So guys, there's a ton of options out there when it comes to getting online, right? I remember back in the early 2000s when I was first starting to wrap my brain around that the internet could actually be used for a tool to grow. I remember seeing commercials from Google and from GoDaddy that would say, hey, get online for free. And you can get online for free today. But the question is, what are we really trying to do with our website? Is it just getting online like back in 2000 or so? Or is it actually getting more performance? And what we're seeing is that performance is what people are really looking for today, not just getting online. So there's 4 factors. I'm going to take you to the iPad here in a second. There's 4 main factors I want you to look at to make sure that you make the best decision for you for your real estate investing and real estate agent website to get more sellers, get more buyers, and put more money in your pocket. Okay, so let's dive into the iPad. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at really is performance. And so if I were to suggest where you should always start, you should start at the opposite side than most people do. Okay, most people are going to start over here on the aesthetic side of things. They're going to think the aesthetic is the most important. Or a lot of people are going to think about maybe ease. I want to get something that's easy to use. Or you know what? There's a lot of people who are just going to go for cost and say, shoot, I'm just going to look at the cost and I'm going to make my choice based on that. And what I want to show you guys really quickly in this video is that the first and most important thing that we should be focusing in on is always performance. Because when we have performance and focus on performance over aesthetic, over ease, over cost, it actually puts a lot more money in your pocket because you're winning more leads, winning more deals that you're likely losing right now from an underperforming website. And so on the performance side of things, we're going to walk you through kind of what that means here in a bit. But there's 3 parts of it. There's, does it rank well in Google, or does it have a good chance to get in front of the highest quality prospects that are searching for how to sell their house or how to buy their house? They're the highest quality, highest profit, most motivated prospects you can possibly get. And it's a consistent, steady stream of them. If you close one SEO deal from your website that you didn't get with your old website, that's probably going to pay for the Carrot system or whatever for 5 to 15 years, which is crazy, maybe even more. Okay. The next thing that I want to have you then look at is going to be ease of use. Okay, there's got to be some sort of way to make sure that you're using the system well. Now, a lot of our clients at Carrot don't even use our system. They hire us to do some of the build outs to our services, or they might hire some other people, or they have their friend use the system and they just go be the agent or be the investor. Okay, so you get to choose how much of the system are you going to use yourself versus you just want to pay people to do that for you so you can do the parts that you enjoy and love. Okay, then the third part of it here I would say is aesthetic. Because we want to make sure that number one, you should be proud of the website that represents your business, but aesthetic isn't number one. Performance is number one. Aesthetic is number 3 in my eyes, because aesthetic only matters to you from that perspective. Okay, aesthetic is what you think about your website. Performance is what your prospects think about your website. Aesthetic is I think it looks pretty. Performance is your prospects has it solved their problem and got them to opt in and become a lead. Okay, so that's why aesthetic is number 3. Most agents though, guys, and investors too, put aesthetic as number 1 and they lower performance down here, and they end up having so many lost leads and deals because they think prettiness and aesthetic is more important than performance. Guys, switch it around. Performance number 1, aesthetic number 3. And then last here is cost. And the reason I put cost as last, where a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh my gosh, cost is number one for me. I don't have a big budget. Because a lot of us look at cost differently than we should. Okay, a lot of us look at cost as what's the monthly payment that I'm going to be paying for that tool, or how much am I going to have to pay my buddy down the street to develop my website for me. But the actual ultimate cost is not the monthly payment that you're going to pay. The actual ultimate cost is how much money this website makes or does not make for you. Okay, so if you use a website like Wix and it's going to be really, really low cost, but let's say it loses you 1 or 2 deals every year because it's not set up for performance. It's not set up to convert well or for page speed or to rank well in Google. And if you lose 1 deal every year, let's say your average profit per deal is $10,000, that cheap website just costs you $10,000, okay? So those are the 4 things right there in the sweet spot. Right there in the sweet spot, that's where all 4 combine. Okay, so now let's pop on down here. We're going to look at the options, and we're kind of comparing Carrot versus some of the other platforms. So Carrot versus Wix and Weebly, like your generic website builders. Carrot versus custom WordPress websites, okay? Carrot versus your all-in-one tools in this industry, in the investment space or agent space. Carrot versus funnel builders like ClickFunnels. Carrot versus your broker provided page. Carrot versus, whatever, okay? So the areas that we're going to be kind of comparing here, and you can kind of weigh what you feel is most important. I'm going to weigh what I look at when I'm looking at tools like this. We're going to be looking at things like this. Number 1, performance, okay? Number 2, ease, like I said. Number 3, right around there is your cost or something, customization. Support is probably more like number 3 or so, okay? A lot of you would probably move it over there. But if we look at Carrot on the performance side, we're number 1 in the industry in all of real estate for SEO. If you were to Google, sell my house fast, insert any city in the country, or sell my house, insert any city in the country, or pull up ranking tools and find out which website tool actually has a higher preponderance of websites ranking high in Google in top 3 rankings, Carrot crushes everything, especially for sellers, okay? So we really focus on that. Conversion is how high does the website convert? When someone lands there on that website, does it convert well? We have an entire videos to walk you through how to set up the structure of your website in this series to make sure it has a better chance of conversion. And one of those elements that makes your website convert well is your page speed, is how fast does that website load? Now, we talked about page speed in our SEO video in this series as well, where it talks about how important how fast your website loads is for SEO, for Google, and for how important your page speed is for making a website convert well, okay? So we're number 1 in page speed. We'll show you that here in a second, and number 1 in SEO. And for conversion, we've always been an industry leader there. If we're talking about page speed and why it's important, I'm going to kind of show a comparison here. We're going to walk through the options and how we kind of evaluate the different options. You can figure out what option is best for you then, okay? So there's a third-party study done by a company called FreshChalk. We're showing here in the iPad. And FreshChalk went out there and put a bot out there in the internet, and they said, let me look at a bunch of local businesses. They scooped up 150,000 websites with their research of any industry. They weren't looking at just one industry. They pulled all the websites back, and then they asked, which ones perform the best as far as speed goes, okay? And so you have a website like Google My Business, where it's a very simple 1-page site. Google gives it to you for free. It, of course, is the fastest because it's really simple and Google owns it, right? And then you have Weebly over here and WP Engine, which is a custom WordPress hosting platform. You have Wix and Squarespace up here, GoDaddy. Google My Business by far outperforms them by page speed, which you would expect. But now let's pop up here to kind of some of the smaller providers like Carrot. We're not a GoDaddy or we're not a WordPress, right? But they found in their study that Carrot outperformed by page speed every other tool in the entire study, big providers and small providers, except for Google My Business, okay? If we look at this, guys, Google My Business's time to first byte, which is how fast it initially loads, is 0.16 seconds. Carrots is 0.189 seconds. The next closest one in the whole study was 0.25, almost double as slow. Okay, guys, so if we pop up here to speed, Carrot crushes WordPress, crushes Shopify, Hibu, Thrive, Web.com, Playster, crushes them all. And so we really help to take that off of your plate for you. Ease on Carrot, we're not really built to be the easiest tool to use. We're built to be the best performing. And that puts more money in your pocket. I'd much rather have more money in my pocket and kind of work through the setup a little bit more, hire someone to do a little bit more of that. Cost, in exchange for value, you're going to pay $100 to $200 a month with Carrot, where you could pay $10 a month for Wix or Weebly, but how many deals is it losing you every single year because it's not optimized for those? And then you can customize it very, very, very deeply within Carrot, but we keep you within our conversion rate boundaries. Okay, we make sure that you're not making edits or adjustments to the website that make your website convert worse. And so there's some things you might want to do on Carrot that you just can't do because they're going to be, for your aesthetic eyes, you might think it looks pretty, but we've found that it converts worse, so we just don't let those things happen in our system. And then support, we really focus on amazing support, live chat, email support, and for our higher plans, phone support, and our online community as well. All right, guys, so how do the other ones compare? I'm going to buzz through these really quickly. You can check out our matrix, hit pause in this, or go check out a blog post that we have as well that we can link up below, okay? So the generic website builders are really going to focus on ease. They're going to focus on making it very easy for you to get online and easy for you to edit it, which is a really cool benefit. But if that ease is at the expense of performance in a high margin service business like real estate, we can't be just going for, man, this thing was easy to set up, but it's losing me money every single month, okay? So if you're looking for ease as your number one and you really don't care about the performance side as much or support as much, those generic website builders might be a good route to go, but they're likely costing you a lot more at the end game. Okay, custom WordPress. So custom WordPress is one of the biggest ones that a lot of people move over from Carrot because you can do anything with custom WordPress. It's fully customizable, right? And it's really good for SEO. The Carrot platform is actually built off of the WordPress framework, and then we've built upon it and made it better. But it's not very good for conversion unless you have someone who absolutely knows what they're doing to set it up correctly, which most don't. And it's not good for site speed unless you know or your web developer knows how to set it up correctly. The reason we mark this one a yellow on custom WordPress is because you have to go in there and optimize your plugins. You have to optimize the code. You can't have too many plugins on there, and that's where a lot of people lose a lot of speed. We've optimized all of that so you guys don't have to think about that. Okay, ease, we marked a red because if you're going to do it all yourself, there's a lot that goes into setting that up. We've taken 80% of that off of your lap and we built it into our platform. And then cost, it can either be free for you just with your hosting if you're going to spend a lot of time into it, or you're going to pay several $1,000s to have a web developer set one up that's halfway decent. Okay. What about the all-in-one tool? So if you're as an investor or an agent, you're going, man, but this other system that's out here has a website included. Well, the question I want to ask you is this: if you know your average profit per deal is $10,000 or $20,000, and if you lose just one deal a year from an underperforming website, if you know that, would you want to gamble on a tool that a website is one of the features and their main features CRM or follow-up, or would you want to make sure that you focus on the best tool for that one thing, which Carrot really focuses on that one thing, we do that one thing well. Okay, we want to make sure that we're not becoming an all-in-one, because an all-in-one basically usually is we're okay at everything but not great at anything, right? We want to say we're great at the website side, great at that side, and then we'll let you integrate with the other tools. Okay, so all-in-ones are not going to be, they're not good at SEO that we found in the market. Conversion rate, they don't really focus on that as much as we do. And page speed, it's not really their focus. Some are fast, some are not. Okay, ease, they're pretty easy to use usually. Cost is affordable. They usually have minimal availability to customize the websites, and they have some pretty good support and some don't. Now let's go into funnel builders like ClickFunnels. Okay, ClickFunnels and those tools are not made for SEO. So you're gonna have to have another website on the side of that in addition to using the funnel. Okay, they're going to be really good at conversion. They're not good at page speed because that's not what they're optimized for. They're great at ease. They're insanely easy to use, but they can be expensive. The reason I'm saying expensive because you have to have a website or an authority hub through Carrot in addition to a funnel. When you can do all of the things on Carrot that you can do in a funnel builder, you can set up landing pages. You can have sticky bars that pop up. You can set up multi-step funnels on there, and you can bake it all into one platform rather than having to have two. All right, guys. And then the last one, if you're an agent, there's a broker provided page. We've marked reds on all the performance items because those are not set up to perform. They're set up to just get you a little page with your glamour shot up there and post your properties. And that's where you're losing lots and lots of opportunity, lots of money. If you lose one deal a year and your average commission is $10K, that broker provided page is not free. Okay, it's not free. It's actually cost you $10,000 that year. right? But it's easy to use because you don't have to do anything with it. The support isn't great because you really can't adjust it, and they're usually not customizable, okay? So I'm gonna wrap this all into a bow here for you and help you kind of guide you through what I look at for making these decisions, okay? So the last parts in here that I'm gonna walk through is how do you now make a decision? Well, once again, I like to focus first on the revenue drivers, okay? What are the revenue drivers first? Which is SEO, conversion, and page speed. The performance side of things is gonna put more money in your pocket, and that's what you focus on first. Number two, what we're gonna focus on is I wanna make sure I can use the tool or someone on my team can use the tool, okay? So Wix is easier to use on the website editing than Carrot, but we're insanely easy to use, but we focus on performance. So you're not gonna be using the website editor a lot, but you're always gonna be using the performance side of it a lot, right? And then number three is aesthetic. Make it good for you, but don't really focus on that too much because the aesthetic is mainly for you, the performance is for the client, okay? And then last, you've got the direct cost. Don't focus on that very much. That's the very last thing. Focus on what it actually is putting in your pocket. So gonna round it out with this question here for you guys, okay? What's your average profit per deal like I asked before? Write that down. Is it $10,000? Is it $20,000? Is it $30,000? Well, how many of those deals are you okay losing every single year because your website doesn't perform well? And if you have a free website, or your cousin Eddie set you up one for $200, or you're paying $100 a month somewhere and you don't want to pay $200 a month somewhere, I want you to really focus on how many leads and deals are you likely losing because that website looks pretty and it's not set up for performance. It looks pretty, but it loads slow, and you're getting people to bounce away from your website or not rank well in Google. It looks pretty, but it's not really focused on ranking well in Google. If you were to close one organic deal, those motivated leads, and it's a $10,000 or $25,000 or $35,000 profit deal, how many years could that pay for your Carrot website, to be able to win and stand out there? Now, you might be asking a question, well, if Carrot works so well in SEO and we see that it works well, how can I stand out? Well, we have other videos in our YouTube channel that walk you through how to make your website stand out, how to build in the credibility on your website as well, on your Carrot website, so you can get the performance, the aesthetic, and really win in there and save some time as well. So guys, hopefully this helped you walk through kind of that decision factor and flip-flop those factors that you're looking at. Focus on performance, put more money in your pocket, make it an easy enough tool for you to use with great support. Aesthetic is not anywhere in the top two, and then really drive that decision. We hope that we're a great tool to work with you. Look at the reviews, look at the resources, look at our reviews on the YouTube channel to show how many people moved over from Wix, from custom sites, from our competitors over to Carrot and are getting far better results. All right, we'd love to work with you. Let's scale with you together. Let's win you back more freedom so you can make a greater impact.